Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking here about Manchester City against Brentford, as we do play against them tomorrow, which is Saturday as I'm recording this. So let's go through the tactics here and maybe a few things to talk about as well. So obviously Oscar de Bob was already injured, but Nathan Ake got injured in the Netherlands game, so he'll be joining that injured category unfortunately. Now I did make a video about Jack Grealish potentially playing as a left wing back, which is an interesting proposition. Go check that video out if you haven't already. But if we're saying a bit more realistic here, now if I do get it correct, I'll claim that I had predicted it and that it wasn't just a wild idea, because I'm shameless, but let's say a bit more realistic here, and let's focus on what we will probably play here against Brentford. Now, Rodri has not played yet this season. He will probably get some minutes in before that Arsenal game. So I reckon he plays 60 minutes in this game. So probably Rodri to start. Kovacic, it's difficult. You have Kovacic, you have Bernardo Silva, you could even have Grealish here in this role, which we've seen Grealish play there for England. I didn't watch the England game, I'll be honest about that. But what everyone has told me is that he was brilliant. You could also have Gundogan or O'Reilly. You have such a wide variety of players that you can play in that 8 role. But I'll pick Kovacic for now. Not because I think he will per se play, but because I think he is just the standard player here. I think you could see any one of Bernardo Silva, Gundogan, Kovacic. It's really not as simple as Kovacic is the starting player. Then De Bruyne. He has had a lot of minutes so far at the start of the season, but his legs, they have a limit to them. So De Bruyne will probably want some rest before that Arsenal game so that his legs don't reach that limit. How do you rest De Bruyne? Well, you can play Gundogan, Grealish, or Foden in that role. I think I personally prefer Foden, so I would play Foden. Gundogan, I prefer to have him play more deep roles to cover for Rodri, and I prefer to have Grealish over here to play on the wide areas. So with that said, Savio and Doku. Who is gonna play between these two? Because it is Brentford at home. So we might see them both. And of course you can swap them from wing whenever you want. You might see them both against Brentford, but I don't think they both start. I really don't. I think we're probably gonna see a more Grealish type winger here. Grealish or Bernardo Silva on the wing. And then Savio or Doku on the other side. More experienced and then more explosive. So I don't think they both start at once. Savio, of course, has that knee injury risk, so I don't think he plays the full 90 at all. I think he might play 30 minutes. I think he might even come on for Doku. Doku will have 60 minutes, Savio will have 30 minutes, something like that. Injury management, right? So, Savio off the pitch, and then who are we gonna bring on? Well, it's could be Grealish, or it could be Bernardo Silva. But on this left-hand side, I think Grealish is a bit more comfortable. So probably Grealish. Bernardo Silva drops down. But if we have Doku playing on the left, then we probably have Bernardo Silva. It depends where Pep Guardiola wants to see Doku. But this front three, we already saw it against West Ham, and it was very good. Doku was very good in that game. Grealish was very good in that game. Just the front three against West Ham, Haaland scored a hat-trick, but I doubt I need to convince anyone that Haaland is good. So it was just outright superb. So I would probably expect a repeat of this, or maybe it's opposite, where we see Doku on the left, Bernardo Silva on the right. But I think Grealish would probably like some minutes at this point of the season, because he hasn't played a lot. Then, the back four, we treat this back four as if it's set in stone, because the players we have right now are just playing so good. But here is the question. Do you want Rico Lewis to start against Arsenal? Because I personally do not. I personally don't think Rico Lewis is experienced enough to start games against Arsenal. Unless you sit a bit deeper, but we won't do that at the Etihad. But if you do want Rico Lewis to start against Arsenal, surely you would want him to get some rest. to play maybe 30 minutes rather than 60 or 90. And if you want Walker to start against Arsenal, I mean, surely if you want Walker to start, you also want him to get some minutes in because he hasn't had that many minutes. So I think, no matter what, we probably don't see Rico Lewis here on this right hand side here, because we'll have to think in advance about the Arsenal game. We have the Internationale game coming up, we have a lot of games here back in a tight area, so we have to think about the fitness of these players. So Rico Lewis, I doubt he starts, just on a pure fitness level, just on a, not on ability or tactics, just pure keeping your players fit. Then Akanji and Diaz have played every game of the season here. It won't surprise me if either one of them was dropped for John Stones, but I won't make such predictions ahead because we really can't. Then Gvardiol, he's really the only player we have on this left back spot, which is something I've talked about already with the Grealish potentially moving to left back left wing back rather video. But we'll stay realistic here and we'll keep it on Gvardiol. It is certainly an interesting idea, but those ideas aside, let's stay realistic here and have Gvardiol playing as left back for this game. That might lead to Gvardiol getting a bit over encumbered though, as he really isn't going to be getting a lot of rest. So then you maybe look at Rico Lewis coming on as left back to rest Gvardiol, or maybe you're looking at Stones playing in Akanji's place and Akanji coming on as left back. Neither of which are ideas I'm very fond of, but they are possibilities. They are possibilities. Then, there is one thing left to talk about. One thing left to talk about. Erling Haaland. We are now going to play Brentford, Internationale, Arsenal. Who do we play in the Carabao Cup? I forgot. I think it's Watford. Watford. In the span of, I believe, 8 days, 9 days, something like that. That is not a lot of time. let me check in fact. The first game here against Brentford is tomorrow. And the game against Watford, it's 11 days. Or 10 days rather. 10 days. That is not a lot of time between 4 games. Haaland will need some rest. I'm sorry, Haaland does not score 60 goals across all competitions in a season without having him rested in the earlier fixtures in this season. So Haaland, I don't want him to start. I want him to come on as a substitute. Who do we start ahead of Haaland? I have talked about this on my channel before, if you're a regular. I really want to see Matheus Nunes in the striker role. Not false 9, not midfielder, winger, whatever. Striker. Just striker. I want to see what can Matheus Nunes do up here against these weaker teams as a striker. If we give him the ball, can he put it in the net? If we cross a ball into him, can he get a good header on it? What can he do from that striker role, playing a very similar role to Haaland, to lesser effect, but probably with a bit more using his feet, close passing, stuff like that, to really make himself useful in a different way, but all in all still being a striker. He's not a false 9, he may use his feet to help with the build-up and stuff like that, but he remains a striker, he remains in this box area. He'll more so be a pivot point in the attack, rather than, whereas Haaland is just give the ball and he'll score. Which is a lot easier. It's a lot easier to have somebody you give the ball to and he just scores. But you can't expect that from Matheus Nunes, can you now? So, that is maybe what I would hope for. I don't know if I'd say I'd expect it. It does seem logical. It does seem logical, I'll say that. Now, Kovacic, I look at Kovacic. He would potentially go out of that selection. Foden is in it because I think he wants to get some minutes. He is no longer ill. He had illness for a while, which is why he didn't play a lot yet. I reckon Foden wants some minutes. So we probably see more Foden. Then Gundogan maybe in midfield. Depends. Again, I really prefer Gundogan in that defensive role too. And then defense. Don't be surprised if either one of the centre backs gets dropped for John Stones. It's not because Pep doesn't rate them. It's just because the centre backs need rest, and John Stones needs game time. So what a better minute to give to John Stones then, who is still getting back into shape, hasn't played for a long while for Man City, than a game against Brentford at home. Now, I'm not saying that Brentford at home should be easy, but it should be. So, do tell me what you guys think down below here about the game, what you predict for the result to be. I'll go a bit feisty. I think I'll go 4-0. I'll go 4-0. I'll be very feisty here. It's going to be a statement victory after the end of the international period. Well, Arsenal. Good luck, Arsenal. If they can actually manage to get 2 wins without Odegaard, Calafiori, and Merino, they are probably making a shout for champion. But if they don't do that, if they lose both games, well then, good luck Arsenal. Good luck Arsenal trying to catch up. But yeah, do like and subscribe, always helps out a ton. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.